time he was.
My mom, did you know he was out?
They're smart. I really want a dog, but I go away too often. I don't want the responsibility.
Well, the thing is, you know, if you have a friend with a dog, you can kind of trade back and forth on dogs that.
This Chihuahua doesn't live here
But
anymore.
McMahon,
Down
I was
south.
going through a couple serious
Well, go
issues.
find a friend with a, go to a dog park and find somebody with a dog you like and then say, hey, you want to be friends?
Can't be that, old. In his 50s maybe?
So,
Or less.
you're becoming quite a regular. That's,
He gave him
no, what, he quit? No. Oh, no.
3 years. Jesus. Aren't they in? No.
Or just for, not sure.
No.
We don't have that.
It's 3 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, I'm sorry. I'm calling the meeting of Code Enforcement Board for the City of Tarpon Springs in session for June 9th, 2016. If you could please, sir, lead us in invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Heavenly Father, we seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. We pray that our work this afternoon will find favor in your sight. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could have a roll call, please.
Mr. Selesky,
Here.
Ms. Vicasey,
Here.
Mr. Kramer,
Here.
Mrs. Archer. Here. Mr. DeMassis,
Here.
Mr. Sherray,
Here.
Mr. Bergeman,
Here.
Mrs. Dabbs.
She said here, yeah.
Yes, oh, sorry.
I know, I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Please, your roll call.
All right, thank you. Code Enforcement Board hearing procedures. It is the intention of this board to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Tarpon Springs by providing an equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing various codes within the city of Tarpon Springs. Any aggrieved party may appeal a final administrative order of this board to the circuit court. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 days of the execution of the order to be appealed. Florida Statute 286.0105 requires any party appealing a decision of this board to have a record of the proceedings to support such an appeal. The board is the board's procedure is with each case on its agenda as follows. First, the city presents its witnesses and exhibits, after which the violator is able to ask the city's witnesses any specific questions regarding their testimony. Secondly, the violator is allowed to make a presentation and present any evidence or documents. Then the city can question the violator's witnesses. After both rounds of testimony, both on the part of the city and on the part of the violator, each party is asked to give a closing statement. first by the city and then by the violator. After these 3 steps are taken, this board then closes the public hearing portion of the case to discuss and take appropriate actions. Before we begin the public hearings, we will have all potential witnesses stand up and be sworn in by the secretary of the board, and please turn off all cell phones. If you're witnesses for today's procedures, you need to stand up, raise your right hand. Are you going to be making any statements or anything like that? Pardon? Oh, reduction? Do we need, no. Okay.
All right. Just raise your, thank you. Do you swear this testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You can be seated.
Okay. First case we have today is vacant lot on Lincoln Avenue. Go ahead, Officer Gaston.
Good afternoon. This is case number 16-800000121. As you stated, it's a vacant lot on the south end of Lincoln Avenue, parcel number 132715-21348-005-0131. Technically has a city listed address as 832 Lincoln Avenue, although it's not developed. Initially conducted an inspection on April 12th. The complaint about it being overgrown, having trash on it. Property does have some areas that are overgrown. There's a large amount of trash and numerous vehicles, excuse me, on the property that need to be removed or disposed of. There were some Brazilian pepper trees on the property, but that's been taken care of and is no longer an issue. On 4/12 of 16, a notice of violation was issued. On May 18th of 2016, a notice of hearing was issued. It was mailed first class and certified mail with return receipt requested. It was mailed to the property owner of record as determined by the Pinellas County Tax Collector and Pinellas County Property Appraiser, which happens to be a Mr. Donald Taylor. We did receive, get a return receipt from the owner, and I have spoke to the owner. I actually met him at the property, discussed what needed to be taken care of. And as a matter of fact, I saw him yesterday tootling down there on his tractor, trying to finish it up, but as of now, it's not finished. I posted the property on May 27th of this year, and on June 8th, and a little while ago, I re-inspected it, and he still is not in compliance with the two ordinance I cited him, which is under 822, the accumulation of trash and debris on private property, and 840, which is the duty and maintenance of private property. As I stated before, the Brazilian pepper trees are off the board. So I do have photographs of the property from June 8th. Ask them to.
Okay, I'm sorry. While they're looking, you two gentlemen aren't with this property, are you? Okay, all right.
There are four.
Okay, all right.
So you guys are familiar, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, the southern end of Lincoln, just north of where Mears is going through, is where this property is. You can actually see it if you come up Mears and make a northbound turn onto Safford. If you look over to your right, there's an old vacant bus there and a semi-trailer, and there's a fair amount of trash, and you'll see in the pictures. My pictures are taken actually from Lincoln looking to the west. But you can also see it when you make the turn on Safford off of Mears.
Say he's working on it right now. He is.
He's in the process, yeah.
So you could have this fixed in a couple of weeks even.
Well, I met him in person in April, and he cut down a couple of trees, put up an unpermitted fence, which had been dealt with because there's some property issues between his property and the property next to it, and like I said, he waited until yesterday,
Right.
to get back out there. And the interesting thing, he was taking a lawnmower with him, and I don't have an issue with any of the grass being overgrown. So he needed a truck to get rid of the trash, but that's just my opinion.
Bobby, if you would, when we receive those, would you put them into evidence, please?
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions to the city from the board? Do they have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question or two. Are the vehicles still there?
Yes, sir, they are.
During your course of conversation with this, with the owner, did he indicate anything about removing the vehicles?
He said he was gonna try. He's a talkative man.
Okay.
We talked for a long time about how he got them and things like that, but nothing, he didn't give me a specific date or anything like that.
Okay.
Any other questions of the city? Does anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move based on testimony, evidence, facts presented in law that at the time of the alleged violations, sections 8-22 and 8-40 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Tarpon Springs were enforced. The respondent has until the 22nd day of July 2016 to come into compliance with the code sections, or a fine of $50 per day shall be imposed for each day thereafter the respondent remains in violation of said code section.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
I'll question the date. I just think that'd be after our meeting next month, and I'd like to see this resolved prior to that. So, any date, like the 6th or so of July?
Any discussion? Would you like to amend your,
No, let's vote on it the way it stands, and if it doesn't pass, then somebody else can bring a motion. I wanted to give adequate amount of time, particularly with the dispersal of the vehicles, but I also don't have a problem with moving the date up if that's the will of the board, but I would just as soon have a vote on
All
the
right.
motion as made.
can we have a vote then on the original motion of 22 July 2016, $50 a day thereafter?
Mr. Bergerman,
Yes.
Mr. Sherry,
No?
Mr. Demasis,
Yes.
Mrs. Archer,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Ms. Vicasey,
Yes.
Mr. Sobleski.
Yes.
Your motion carries.
Okay, case number 2 is in reference to a vacant lot on East Lime Street. Officer, would it be possible if you have pictures, you could
do.
possibly put those through while you're presenting your case? Might speed things up a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'll present the
Thank you.
photographs. Case number 16-8000147. It's a vacant lot on East Lime Street. It has a city listed address, but no residences. 1117 East Lime Street. The parcel 072716 996120150160. Property owners are listed as TC12 LLC. The registered agent's name is Matt Pallardy. On April 30th of this year, I conducted an initial inspection. The lot is overgrown, is currently in fine status with the previous owner. This property's been before the board a couple of times and was never taken care of. Property was sold, basically as is, and it's still in that condition. I did speak to the registered agent, Matt Pallardy, on the phone, advised him of the circumstances, and he was less than cooperative. We issued a notice of violation on May 2nd of this year, and an amended notice of violation on May 19th with a notice of hearing, due to the fact that the change of ownership was the reason why the amended notice of violation was made. It was mailed to the listed property owner and the registered agent, as determined by the Pinellas County Tax Collector and Pinellas County Property Appraisers Database. We did get a certified return receipt, and as I stated earlier, I had some conversation with the registered agent at the very beginning. I haven't spoke to him since. Posted the property on May 27th of this year, and on June 8th, I re-inspected it, took the photographs that the board's currently reviewing, and I found him in violation of Section 8-40, duty of maintenance of private property, 8-52, which are the nuisance prohibitions that go along with 840, the lot's over 12 inches and so forth. And then also cited him for the damaged chain link fence out front, which is in poor condition under 3603. So the overgrown lot and the fence are what he's currently being cited for.
Bobby, could you enter those photos in record, please?
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions from the board for the city?
Yes, you said that the owner was less than cooperative. Are we talking about Matt, or
Matt was, he's the
Was?
registered agent for the company that owns the property.
can you be a little more specific as to what it was?
He dropped names and, basically told me he'd have my job and I had no business and he was gonna change all the ordinances in the city. In a nutshell.
Powerful guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If it's possible, is there anybody who'd like to make a motion?
I'll make them.
Okay, you make a motion.
I move based on the testimony, evidence, facts presented in law, that at the time of the alleged violations, 8-40, 8-52, and 36.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Tarpon Springs were in force. The respondent has until the 7th day of July 2016 to come into compliance with the code sections, or a fine of $50 per day shall be imposed for each day thereafter that the respondent remains in violation of the said code sections.
Second.
Any questions? Or any discussion? Discussion? Could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bergman? Mr. Charret?
Yes.
Mr. Demasis?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Vaquesi?
Yeah.
Mr. Sobleski?
Yes. Next on the agenda is case 16, vacant lot on East Boyer Street.
I'm gonna pass the photographs around. I just want the board to understand that the property's now in compliance, so these were before pictures. But also included with that is a screenshot of our computer system database that shows the number of priors, because I bring this case before the board to be established as a repeat violator. So the first document, which is obviously not pictures, just shows the number of priors he's had in the last few years. This is case number 16-8000184. It's a vacant lot on East Boyer Street. I don't have a city listed address for it. It's never been developed. It's parcel number 072716996120150064. Property owners are listed as Dennis and Wanda Jennings. The initial inspection date was on May 20th of this year. The initial complaint was the lot's overgrown, the chain link fence in front is damaged. It appears to have multiple dead trees on the lot. There were prior cases in 2 prior years, and the owner is not a local owner. He lives, I think, south of Skyway, Bradenton, or one of the ones south of Skyway. And so for this purpose, I'm bringing it before the board to be established. A notice of violation and notice of hearing were issued on May 23rd of this year. They were mailed first class and certified return receipt to the listed property owner, according to the Pinellas County Property Appraiser and the Pinellas County Tax Collector. We did receive a return receipt that it was delivered, and I also, as I stated, I've had contact with the owner. He's called me a couple of times. He advised me when the property was in compliance a couple of days ago. I posted the property on May 27th, and on June 7th of this year, I did re-inspect it, and I found it to be in compliance. But as I stated earlier, I'm moving forward with getting the property established under City Code 8-40 and 8-52, which is duty of maintenance of private property and the nuisance conditions that coincide with that ordinance.
Any questions of the city?
I just want to clear up one thing. During your testimony, the last 4 digits you said in the parcel ID number were 0064. Is that the correct, or is it 0060 as it like it is on the agenda?
It's 0060, I misspoke.
Okay, thanks.
Well, looking at your case history here, they've been an on and off problem since 2004.
Correct.
Any other questions or whatever as far as the city is concerned?
Just to clarify, when a property is put as established, do they receive notification of that fact and what that means to them?
The answer is yes, and basically what you're doing is you're finding that it was in violation at the time of the inspection, but as of the date of the hearing, it was in compliance. And so, the code enforcement department uses that term established, but it basically means that you have found a violation. And so the answer to your question is yes, there will be a board order that will be signed saying that he has been found in violation. The next time that it comes up, it will be considered a repeat, and the fine can run from the beginning of the date of inspection versus the date that you establish it at the code board hearing. They'll get that board order about 10 days after the hearing.
Any other questions or discussion? Do I have anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Establishing this?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman. I move based on the testimony, evidence, facts presented, and the law that at the time of the alleged violation, sections 8-40, 8-52, and 36.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Tarpon Springs were in full force and effect. At the time of the notice of in violation, the respondents were in violation of said code sections. However, they are now in compliance, and I'm doing this in order to establish the violation.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I don't know what that third code.
Oh, first of all, do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
He named 3 codes and I only see 2.
Were you looking at the wrong, the last, case had 36.03. This present case on Boyer only has 8-40, 8-52.
He's reading it off the agenda.
Well, it's confusing because it's got all 3 of them on the,
Okay.
Okay, well,
Man.
then-
Well, let me ask you, Mr. Chairman, is it the agenda that is correct, or is it,
I'm gonna have to, look for guidance from our attorney.
Actually, that's at, Mr. Gasson or Officer Gasson, tell us which the violations are again, so that you can just confirm them.
The violations are 8-40 and 8-52. It's a typographical error on the agenda.
I see. Well, let me change my motion then before we call for a vote, if I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, based on the testimony and the correction provided by Officer Gasson, may I please change the wording to indicate that the alleged violations, or the violations, were 8-40 and 8-52. I misspoke based on a incorrect listing in the agenda for 36-03. I'm going to withdraw the 36-03. The other 2 will stand.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Could we have a vote, please?
Mr. Bergerman?
Yes.
Mr. Charrier?
Yes.
Mr. DeMossis?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer? Yes. Mr. Kramer?
yes.
Mr. Casey?
yes.
Mr. Sklasky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to, on the record, thank Ms. Casey for pointing that out so that we have a correct record. Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Casey.
Okay, next case, case number 4, it's, on, 318-322 East Boyer Street. Is there anybody in the, okay? If you would, please, gentlemen, please come over to the table here. State your name, you've already signed in? All right, just state your name and address, please.
My name's Anthony McHale.
My name is Adel Mikhail.
And when we're talking and all that, if you would, please talk into the microphone.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, Officer Gaston?
Passing photographs around, understand the photographs were taken on May 27th when I initially inspected the property, and so the property's now in compliance, so I'll move forward. It's a repeat violator case.
Hang on just a second, Officer Gasson, I just want to interrupt. Did you show the photographs to them yet?
Oh.
Okay, we need to do that. On the other 2 cases, there was nobody here, and it
Right.
wasn't an issue. I just want to make sure that there are no objections to the photographs coming before they're passed down.
Yes, that's the problem.
Okay. Keeping in mind, those pictures were taken on May 27th, not today.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is
ahead, sir.
case, I'm sorry. This is case number 16-800000187. It's a repeat violator case. The address is 318 and 322 East Boyer Street in the city of Tarpon Springs. The parcel number is 132715 252-72000013 Property owners listed as St. Anthony Investment LLC. Conducted initial inspection on May 21st of this year. There's trash and debris along the right-of-way along Gross Avenue and Boyer Street. There's trash and debris on other places on the property. The trash cans were placed out more than 12 hours before pickup. The property was listed as a repeat violator under Code Enforcement Case 14-800000441. On May 23rd, a notice of hearing as a repeat violator was issued. It was mailed first class with return receipt. A notice was mailed to the property owner of record as determined by the Pinellas County Tax Collector and the Pinellas County Property Appraisers Database. We did receive a return receipt. And I have spoke to, I believe, Anthony a few times about the property and made him aware of the situation. I posted the property on May 27th. Those are the photographs that you have, and at that time it was still in violation. On May 31st, I conducted a reinspection based on the property owner contacting me stating it was ready to be inspected, and at that point I did find it in compliance. An affidavit of compliance was completed on May 31st as well, and as I stated, the property is a repeat violator and was in violation of City Codes 816, which is you can't have your trash cans out more than 12 hours before pickup, so the pre-collection practices. 822, which is having trash or debris on your property, and those are the two things I found him for. Showing from May 21st to May 31st were the violation days for that 10-day period. He was not in compliance. And as I stated before, 816 and 822 are the two code sections in question.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the officer at this time?
No questions.
All right, Bobby, when you get those pictures, please put them in record. You have a chance now to present your case.
Okay, thank you.
If you could move the microphone,
all right.
yeah, there you go.
All right, thank you.
you.
On May 26th, I believe, yes, May 26th, I received the mail, and I had to sign for it about the violations. There's actually 2 violations, but the other one was because of 2 cars that were parked without tags, but that has nothing to do with this case, but that was fixed immediately. The trash and debris, however, we were informed about it on the 26th. I would just like to make a quick note that the fines began on the 21st, but we weren't informed about the issue until the 26th. And then I immediately called the Code Enforcement Department and discussed with them, and I got a chance to speak with Officer Gasson, and we immediately went out. My father, not me. I had school, and he went and took care of it, and he was working through with the property and hired people. We took care of it, and he was working through, and we finished approximately Friday around 5 p.m. But the Code Enforcement Department was closed. However, we believed that it was cleaned and everything, but I couldn't call to schedule for compliance. When Officer Gesson, I was able to speak to him on Tuesday because Monday was Memorial Day holiday, so I couldn't get in touch with anyone. So he went out and he went out twice. The first time he said that there was still a spot in one of the corners that was still had some debris. So we went out again and cleaned it up, and thankfully he was kind enough to go out again Tuesday to write us up for compliance. I'd also like to state that we haven't had an issue, this issue came up before, but it was about 2 years ago, and we were informed by the board that it is our issue because we are the landlords, and that we got opinions, your opinions, food for thought, saying that we should look for better tenants and evict those who don't comply. And to be honest, we did, and by the 2 years ago, we evicted and brought back more tenants and went back and forth, and We did our best, but I guess the issue still presides. We've been doing our best. We go out weekly to do our job, but I guess we kind of slacked off a little. I'd just like make those couple statements and say that we were quick to fix the issue, and we were dedicated and professional. And we would like to request that if you guys still see that it's fitting for us to be fined, that to at least fine us from the moment that we found out about the issue till the compliance date. Well, we were technically ready Friday, but we couldn't because we finished after the code department closed. So, and we had to wait till Tuesday because of the Memorial Day weekend. So, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions of the city?
He had one more thing you wanted to say.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
sorry.
got mumble jumbled up.
That's all right, take your time.
Also, Officer Gasson informed me of something that I really appreciated. He told me of the 7-day notice from the landlord to the tenant. Like, we didn't know about that because we're still new to this, to having tenants. So he kindly informed me about the 7-day notice that as long as we clearly state in our lease, which we do, that the tenants are responsible for maintaining the property and keeping their trash and like returning their trash cans after the garbage men come and pick it up, and to not throw garbage on their property, which we would believe is common sense. He explained to me that the 7-day notice allows the landlord to immediately file paperwork and order, and if the tenant does not properly respond to the guidelines and adjust the issues at hand, that we can immediately jump into the eviction process and not wait the whole time. So I was appreciative of that information, and we would definitely use that in the future if we encounter more violations, which we hopefully don't have to.
Okay. Anything
Thank
else?
you. No, thank you.
All right.
That's the last time.
Is there any questions of the board for the city?
I have a question for the city's inspector. Based on the testimony that you've heard from the gentleman under investigation here, what do you have an opinion as to whether the time frame should be narrowed as far as when if a fine is deemed to be appropriate?
I have no objection to shortening it to the date. He states it was in compliance, but as far as the out of compliance date, the beginning date, based on a repeat violator, it's his responsibility to keep track of the property. That's when I noticed the violation. As he stated, we ran into holiday issues and things like that. He was in contact with me, but I simply was off work by that time. I
Okay.
have no issue with reducing it a couple of days.
Again, can you give, just for my own benefit, and maybe for others on the board, can you give me what you consider as the start date?
The 21st, I believe, as I stated?
Yeah.
Yeah, May 21st.
Okay, and then what would you feel would be a legitimate
Give me just a second to pull my calendar.
ending
up.
date? Certainly. We all have to look at the calendar and take your
Yeah,
time.
I think you guys have one. I unfortunately do not.
I can hand you one here.
I believe he stated that, I normally work on Saturdays, which would have been,
He had it done, he stated on the 27th of May because that's the weekend in question. That was the Friday before the weekend in question.
correct. And I believe you said you hadn't had it done by 5 o'clock on Friday?
No,
We had
we had it done on 5 p.m. on Friday, like Friday evening.
If, I'm comfortable with going on the 28th, which is the Saturday, because I would have probably inspected it, so it would have been my fault that I didn't on the 28th, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
So say the
to
27th then?
So the 21st through the 28th, which would be
but it wasn't.
basically a 7-day period,
It wasn't completely
if that
cleaned up.
satisfies the board.
All right, so 21st to the 28th. Does the board have any more questions for the city?
Have a question.
Does the board have any questions for the plaintiff
Yeah.
or respondents?
Where do you live? What town?
We live in Odessa. We're about 20, 25 minutes from here.
Any other questions for the board?
I'll make the mo,
Do we have anybody that'd like to make a motion?
I will.
Okay.
I move based on the testimony, evidence, facts presented, and law, that the respondent was in violation of sections 8-16 and 8-22 of the Tarpon Springs Code of Ordinances from May 21st, the initial inspection date, until compliance on May 31st.
No. 28.
That's her motion. She
Oh.
can make it any
My
motion she
motion.
wants.
Oh, okay.
And we'll discuss, okay? A fine of $10 a day for 10 days is imposed for a total fine of $100.
Second.
Any discussions?
Who did the second? I'm sorry. Mr. Kramer? Oh,
Mr. Kramer did the second.
Thank you, thank you.
The reason that I went the full 10 days is because we heard testimony that when Officer Gaston went out there, it wasn't totally done. There was still a little, bit of mess to clean up, and it's a repeat violation. You know, I don't know what they can do other than, you know, maybe go after them for the 7-day notice and say, look, you're gonna lose your home if you don't keep the yard clean. They don't live in town, so they, you know, the neighbors have to look at that. That's why I think $100 isn't that big of a fine.
Any other discussions?
Did I hear right, $100?
$10.
Oh.
a day.
$10 a
I
day
didn't hear right. Thank you.
for 10 days. Any other discussions? Could we put it up for a vote, please?
Mr. Bergerman?
Yeah.
Mr. Sherry?
Yes.
Mr. Massas?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Vacasie?
Yes.
Mr. Sobleski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that.
thank you.
Your attendance.
Where do we pay?
What will happen is in 10 days, you'll get an order, and then once you've received that order, come to the clerk's office, which is right outside over here, and you can pay the fine over there.
All right, thank you. We
But I
appreciate
wait
it.
until you get the paperwork, because the clerk won't have it until you
I
get
had-
there.
I had $20.
We keep cleaning and we keep.
We're gonna have to use the 7-day notice.
That's it.
Yeah. If they don't listen, we're just gonna have to evict them.
My questions is anything we can do because we keep cleaning, they keep throwing trash, we keep cleaning. I feel like they enjoy this.
Well,
Anything by
You
the
can
law.
then- you
7
can
days is-
Start your right as far as if it's in the lease, the 7 days. If it's a problem with these renters, present them with eviction notice and go that proceeding.
And that's by law. For 7 days, I can get eviction for them.
Yes,
I can evict them
you can.
because they're not
Let me
cleaning.
get the professional statement.
We can't give them legal advice.
No.
You need to find a lawyer and get some legal advice. You-
Okay.
Okay, we can't tell you that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Otherwise, you'd have them lined up here just to get free legal advice. It'd be worth coming in.
Okay.
You're right.
Number, affidavits of non-compliance?
I move we accept the affidavit of noncompliance in case 16-800000029.
second.
Second?
We need to make sure there's anyone in the audience on this particular case, 1122 Carlton Road.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Affidavits of non-compliance. Is there anyone in the audience?
How about compliance?
Compliant.
Or compliance, I'm sorry, compliance.
I move we accept the affidavits of compliance in case 16-800000073 and case number 16-800000187.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Didn't I? Okay. The next item is number 8, reduction of fine for 715 Locust Street. you're the, okay, I don't think you were here when we first swore in.
He doesn't need to swear
Oh.
in, and remember, this is a fine reduction, he doesn't get to speak to you about this.
Okay.
You
All
need to
right.
make your determination based solely upon the written petition pursuant to your rule.
Right.
I understand, I'm just here in case you have questions.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to review and read the paperwork that was submitted to us in reference to the reduction of fine for property at 715 Locust Street, Tarpon Springs, case number 13800000886? Has everyone had a chance to read and review?
Mr. Chairman, do we have an up-to-date figure as to what the total,
What
of the violation
I
is?
It's
got,
$41,200.
I'm sorry,
$41,200.
oh, 200, okay.
thank you.
$41,200. Do I have anybody who would like to make a motion in reference to the reduction of fine
Yes,
from what the city has also supplied us?
yes. I move that the fine of $41,200 in case number 13-800000886 be reduced to $4,370.
Second.
This reduction will occur upon payment of the stated reduced amount if paid within 60 working days of this order. Failure to pay the reduced fine will result in the original amount of $41,200.
Second.
We already have in a second. Any discussion? Could I have a vote, please?
Mr. Bergerman?
Yes.
Was that no, sir?
No, yes.
Mr. Sorry, Mr. Sherry? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Demasis?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Vicasey?
Yes.
Mr. Swoleski?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Next case is also a case for a reduction in fine on 1422 Tallahassee Drive. That's in reference to you, sir, if you would. Like I said, you can't really say anything, but okay, this is in reference to a reduction in fine for the address of 1422 Tallahassee Drive, Tarpon Springs, Florida. It is, like I said, the reduction of fine. Has everyone had a chance to read the petition from the violator plus the city recommendation in the packet that was provided?
Again, I'd like to ask the city, Mr. Chairman, what the current fine total is?
$8,400.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to make a motion in reference to the reduction of fine?
I'll make a motion. I move that the fine of $8,400 in the case of citation number 15-800000405 be reduced to $1,090. This reduction will occur upon payment of the stated amount if paid within 60 working days of this order. Failure to pay the reduced fine will result in the original amount of $8,400.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, Bobby, if you would, give us a roll call.
Mr. Bergerman?
Yes.
Mr. Sherry?
Yes.
Mr. Mosses?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Ms. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Spleski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Are you
Thank you.
done?
Thank you very much.
You came down from Crystal River for this?
Yes.
Thank you. It was really nice. Good luck.
Okay, now we need approval of our minutes for the month of April and the month of May. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes for those 2 months? And if so, would somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve both sets of minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Board or staff comments. Before I adjourn, I assume everybody,
Officer Gasson is like,
Officer Gasson requests to reschedule code board. Thank you very much, sir. I didn't read that. Officer Gasson is requesting to reschedule the code board meeting date originally scheduled for August 11th to be rescheduled to August 18th. Is that okay with everybody
Fine
as
with
far as
me.
the board is concerned? How about you? That, oh, he's got,
that's fine.
that's fine? That's fine?
We don't need a vote.
Only if he tells us where he's gonna be on the 11th.
yeah.
That's all,
Yes, we need a motion to
you know,
change
if
the
Yes,
date.
we need a
if he's-
motion.
If he's in Europe or something on
We gotta
vacation,
go.
of course.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Do I have a motion to change the date from August the 11th to August 18th, 2016?
Make the motion to change the date.
Do we have a second?
Do we have a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the meeting has been officially changed to August 18th, 2016.
I'll be in DUI vehicular manslaughter school.
That
Great.
sounds like
Yeah, it
fun.
sounds like fun.
We don't wanna come with you then.
Okay. The next item I would like to bring up is in reference, I hope everybody was given a copy of Mr. Vessey's letter of resignation. Talked to our attorney, he said we have one of two ways. We can address it today, or we can go home and think about who you would like to nominate for the chairman, and anything else, and we could address it on August 18th.
Can address it right now. Why don't we just leave it like where you're sitting, right there?
Well,
Can we do that and then nominate a vice?
Yes, we're gonna need to do both. If
Who vice chair? Who've done it?
the vice chair now becomes the chair, we're gonna need to appoint a vice chair as well, too.
I don't care.
okay.
I would like
Suggest.
to nominate, or make a motion to, or nominate Jerry to be
The
chairman.
Okay. All right. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Any other nominations for me as chairman? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who was the second on the, nomination for, you did first? I heard like 4 people.
Oh,
Oh, we all want to be right there.
yeah, we all.
Want to be in his good graces, so
Yes.
we're,
So, and then, is anybody, thinking about nominating anybody else on the board for vice chairman?
I'd like to nominate Carl.
Is Carl
Oh, I would
willing to
accept, yeah.
accept that? Is there any other nominations for vice chairman? Okay, I have a nomination. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have a new vice chairman, a new chairman of the board effective next month, August 18th.
well, thank you very
July.
much.
Meeting in July.
That's called a railroad, by the
Aye.
way. That's called a railroad.
See, I'm Polish. I'm all messed up. That's right, we have a meeting in July. We will address that, yes.
All right.
Is there any other business, discussions, questions, comments that anybody would like to do as far as the board is concerned?
I'd just like to thank everybody for appointing me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're good, yes. Thank you. All right, it is 2:47. I call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. As long as Mr. Trash keeps me straight and narrow and slaps me
We'll
up.
keep them right in between us.
Slaps me up the head a couple of times.
Be safe.
You too, Bobby.
Do we need to
It's
take
gonna be
the,
hot, isn't it? It's already
we need
hot.
to take the microphones down, Bobby?
No, sir, mine's saying they can stay up.
Okay.
That's the last step, I guess.
Were you on vacation last time?
I had surgery done.
You all right?
Yeah, yeah.
We missed you.
Aw. Thank you, that's kind.
I didn't even bring my phone.
I had surgery on Wednesday. Yeah, really? I had surgery on Wednesday. I was thinking, oh God. What was I thinking? I must have been in sync. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, just flip them. Excuse me, Officer Jackson? Yes, ma'am. Can I speak with you for a moment?
Conducting a meeting, is there anything that I'm blatant at?
It's all we
I
would
mean,
like.
if there's something
Oh.
that, you know, that you're missing as we go along, I want to speak up. No, you do a good job.
It's all we would like to know, maybe not small money
just learned from what everybody else is doing.
that y'all, getting
You know, real
revised.
right or wrong way,
If she
because
could
that's
speak
what
to
this
you
is
about
all
a couple
about.
things
This
with
is, you know,
certification.
volunteer
Is Irene,
board
the
members
clerk?
doing
Yeah, it's
things.
just a couple things because we
we're
issue
running
them
a
from our office. And the thing is, and I know you want a meeting or someone to
it's
meet
just-
this information so
Carl
you
really
can
seems
verify.
to like this board and have done it.
A year or so ago, whenever last
We
time
have
we
more
did it.
fun making
But the thing is, that
motions
some
than
of the wording, so when we